I remember when I was pregnant and preparing to breastfeed, and I would just read every book and every blog that I could get my hands on about breastfeeding. But I just kind of also figured like it's going to come naturally. And there are some things that I wish I had known sooner. I work with so many moms who tell me, Jamie, why didn't anybody tell me this sooner? Hey, Mama Bear. Welcome to the Breastfeeding with Confidence podcast. Do you dream of bonding with your baby through exclusive breastfeeding, but worry about breastfeeding pain or low milk supply? Maybe you're struggling with breastfeeding and no one seems to have any answers. I'm Jamie, doula, international board certified lactation consultant, and mom of 5, and I have been where you are. After working through painful latches, milk supply worries, and postpartum depression, and supporting countless mothers through their breastfeeding journeys for over 8 years, I'm here to tell you breastfeeding doesn't have to be perfect to be positive. Each week, I'll share breastfeeding tips to help you prevent and overcome unexpected breastfeeding challenges so you can actually enjoy bonding with your baby. If you are ready to shut out the toxic whispers of the world, embrace your God-given intuition, and release your inner fierce mama bear, grab some coffee or your favorite herbal tea and let's dive in. So I'm going to give you a few tips today to get that first week of breastfeeding off to a great start. So the first thing we want to do to get breastfeeding off to a really, really good start is get a really, really great first latch. Mama, that first latch is the foundation that your breastfeeding story is going to be built on. If you do not get a great first latch, don't worry. Like, I don't want this to be too much pressure. You can learn, you can correct it, you can get it right. However, each time you latch your baby and it hurts, or it's a shallow latch, or there's dysfunction and it feels like she's chomping, you're causing damage to your nipples. And that's going to build and build, and within a couple days, you're going to quickly realize you're dreading feeding time and it hurts and you're going to feel like you just can't do this and there's no fixing it. So we don't want to let that snowball out of control really fast. We want to make sure we're getting that good foundation. You need to work with your baby's design to get a wide, wide mouth. You want the baby's chin meeting the breast first. If you want to learn my step-by-step technique on how to get a great first latch from the start, make sure you sign up for my upcoming workshop, Secrets to a First Latch Without Pain, where I'm going to bust some breastfeeding myths. I am going to talk to you about creating a breastfeeding plan that works, and I'm going to show you my go-to latch technique to ensure that you get a deep, comfortable latch from the start. Make sure to save your seat for the free class coming up on April 5th at littlebearlactation.com/secrets. Next, we're going to talk about establishing a feeding routine. There's a lot of noise out there about how often your baby should be breastfeeding, how long they should be breastfeeding, if you should have a schedule, if you shouldn't have a schedule. Here's the thing. If we are listening to our baby's instincts and our intuition, then we're going to follow an on-demand feeding schedule. Now, the problem with on-demand feeding is sometimes babies are really sleepy from certain birth interventions, and they might actually go too long between feeds. And so we do need to make sure that even though we highly, highly, highly recommend on-demand feeding, especially in that first week, mom and baby should be together constantly, feeding basically all the time, anytime baby wants to. We do want to make sure we are not going longer than 2 to 3 hours between feeds on a regular basis. If there's one random 4-hour stretch and y'all get some sleep, more power to you. I am not saying to wake everybody up and not get sleep. However, if your baby is consistently going for really long stretches without waking herself up to feed, we do want to make sure that we are not going too long between feeds and we are feeding frequently. Otherwise, on-demand feeding as frequently and as often as baby wants to in that first week is a great way to bring in your milk supply. Make sure your body understands it needs to make milk for this little baby and respond to your baby's demand to have a strong milk supply. All right, now I'm going to tell you one of the biggest reasons moms start struggling with breastfeeding when their baby's like 3 days old is engorgement. What happens is your milk starts to increase in volume. You've still got a whole bunch of fluids from birth, maybe just some general inflammation, and all of this comes together to make your breast feel really full and hard, and a baby can't latch to full, hard breasts. So you need to have strategies to deal with engorgement. Inside of Latching with Confidence, we go really deep into how to deal with engorgement, how to prevent engorgement, how to navigate engorgement, and how to make sure it doesn't derail your breastfeeding experience. But a few things that you need to know right now: cold compresses are your friend, lymphatic drainage massage and hand expression are your friend, and nursing frequently, AKA on demand, is your friend. Tip number 4 is not as tactical as telling you to use cold compresses or hand expression. It's not as tactical as telling you how frequently to latch your baby or that she needs to lead latching with her chin. Rather, it is something that's a little harder for all of us, and that is trusting our bodies, trusting our instincts, and trusting our babies. But, Mama, let me tell you, this world has told you not to trust your instincts. This world has told you you need to take control of feeding your baby. You need to force them into this position. You need to push their head into your breast. And none of it is true. You can trust your instincts. You can trust your baby's instincts, and you can feed your baby intuitively. It's normal for there to be a learning curve with breastfeeding, but your intuition is also worth listening to. It's going to be there, it's going to scream loud and clear. You can learn how to tell the difference between fear and intuition, fear and instinct. And when it comes to breastfeeding, I always tell moms that confidence exists in the place where information and intuition meet. It is so important for you to learn how to trust your instincts, shut out all the shoulds, shouldn'ts, this and that, and trust your instincts. When you understand how your body is designed to work and how your baby is designed to work, and you put those things together, it is so much easier to listen to your instincts and shut out the fear you have been trained to make decisions from. And last but not least, breastfeeding does not have to be perfect to be positive. It is okay if that first week of breastfeeding is really freaking hard. You don't just have to sit and wait for it to magically get better, but you also don't have to assume that just because this first week has been really hard, there's no hope. I am here to tell you that there are things you can do to prevent and overcome unexpected breastfeeding challenges, whether that is unexpected latching challenges, unexpected milk supply struggles, unexpected fallout from a difficult birth. Breastfeeding does not have to be perfect to be positive. When you set yourself up with solid information and great support, you can overcome any breastfeeding challenges you face. If you want to set yourself up for breastfeeding success, I am inviting you to join me in my Secrets to a First Latch Without Pain workshop on April 5th. It is perfect for pregnant moms who want to exclusively breastfeed, and it is perfect for moms who are already struggling with breastfeeding and want something to change. We're going to bust myths. We are going to go deep into why breastfeeding shouldn't hurt, but what the heck you should do if it does. And I have some special prizes that I am giving away at the end, and you will have a chance to ask your breastfeeding questions and get them answered at the very end of the workshop. I am so looking forward to this opportunity to connect with you, and I hope that you will join me. Visit littlebearlactation.com/secrets to claim your free seat today.